γήπεδο, πλησιάζει την περιοχή και...
Κατέβασε και εσύ το Bet On Alfa app και μη χάσεις ούτε ένα γκολ. Bet On Alfa. Ανεβήκαμε κατηγορία.
Wow, let's try that one again, shall we, Ed? Welcome to another edition of No Choftes. For those of you who are a little bit confused at this moment in time, I started to do a live and then it disconnected. This is StreamYard, it's not my internet, I promise. So I've created a new one. So this is like my second official stream in like a minute. So anyway, look. This is going to be about the World Cup. I don't know if anyone's watching this tournament at the moment. We obviously have a very big game at the weekend, so this is something to take our mind off it a little bit. But as the title is, World Cup, more like Board Cup. I don't know about you lot, Cobelia, but this has been probably the most underwhelming start to a World Cup I've ever seen in my life. My first World Cup was Italia 90. I was 9 years old. So you do the maths to figure out how old I am, 42. And in all fairness, forget where this tournament is being hosted, because for me, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference where it's being hosted. It doesn't make a difference what time of day it's being hosted or whether it's halfway through the season. I'm very disappointed with the quality of football. We've seen 0-0 draws with Morocco, Croatia. We've seen 0-0 with Tunisia and Denmark. I'm sure there was another 0-0. This is how irrelevant it is at the moment for me. Honestly, I don't know about you lot. I don't know who's watching this World Cup, but it's just really, really underwhelming. And I try to see the positives, because I remember back in the day, even other World Cups in the past, the first game has always been tetchy. It's always been, you know, neither team really wants to lose, because when you lose your first game, effectively you're fucked. But it's almost as if, I don't know whether it's just a lack of quality. Maybe the footballers aren't as good as what they used to be. Look, this is me showing my age. You know, I remember, I don't know, France 98, when you had R9, Rivaldo, Roberto Carlos. France had Vieira, Henry, Anelka. Oh, no, sorry, Anelka wasn't there. Was Anelka at France 98? I can't remember. No, he wasn't, actually. But you had Desailly, you had Deschamps. Chile had Salas, Zamorano. England had Beckham, Scholes, Owen, Shearer. I look at this World Cup, and yeah, you've got your Mbappes and you've got Messi and Ronaldo, two players that are at the back end of their fucking career. And I'm thinking, I'm expecting more. I'm expecting more from these games. And I've just seen the Croatia-Morocco game, and I was just like, what? What? And let's get it right. The tournament started off all right, in all fairness. I think the Qatar-Ecuador game was pretty decent. All right, there was an offside goal given at the beginning, which VAR said that it was offside. And even now, I look at it again, I can't see where the offside was. Where the ball was played, it looked like there was a defender in line with in fact, behind the striker. But the goalkeeper was out, and under the rules, if the goalkeeper's out, then any defenders behind him aren't classed as active. Whatever, it is what it is. But that was a pretty decent game. In all fairness, I think that Ecuador took their foot off their gas. And I don't think they wanted to embarrass their hosts, because as you guys probably saw, shit ton of fans left at half time. So I don't know whether this is just like a Qatari thing where they're kind of casual football fans, or maybe they were just pissed off that their nation was losing, or whatever it was. But it was a half decent game. Then I watched most of the England game. They beat Iran 6-2. And I don't know about what's happening in Cyprus, because obviously I don't really follow the media too much. But out here, not many people are excited about this World Cup. And England winning against Iran, I guess the fans expected it. I think they expected a lot more, not just the result. I'm not saying they were unhappy with the scoreline, because scoring 6 goals is great. But I think They expected more from Iran. They expected more of a contest. But a win is a win for England, and it's a good win. Saka's looking like a fucking fantastic player, man. Honestly, really, really good player. And the thing is, I do another podcast. In fact, no, it was actually on this pod after the Euro final. I said that Saka might have a similar trajectory as Beckham in the sense that, you know, he got that red card against against Argentina at France 98, and his career went like that. And then you got Saka, who missed a penalty in the Euro final. And he's had a pretty decent so far. Yasure Pedro, what's going on? So yeah, I think Saka's a fantastic player, but England haven't really been tested. And when you got Harry Maguire at the back, anything can happen. Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, Stones, they don't really convince me. But then again, when you look at the attacking options of the rest of the countries, are you really worried? But anyway, so England got a really good victory. And then USA drew with Wales, or Wales drew with USA, or whichever way you want to watch it. I think that's a pretty entertaining game. Pretty-entertaining game in all fairness, and the United States were on the front foot for most of the game. Timothy Weah, George Weah's son, scoring the goal. Very impressed with the United States energy and the movement, especially in wide areas. But they made the cardinal sin of taking their foot off the gas and making a defensive error, which led to a penalty. Gareth Bale scored. Who else? And Wales would be pretty pleased with that point, in all fairness, because they weren't very good. I know the last 20 minutes they gave it a go and they had a couple of chances, but balance of play, I think they were very lucky to come away with a draw. I know Rodri will be quite unhappy with me saying that, but sorry, Rod, it's true. Netherlands beat Senegal 2-0, and again, another game where I was just bored shitless. Bored fucking shitless. Okay, Senegal, they don't have Sadio Mane. But the Dutch ain't particularly good either. You know, when you're going with Vincent Janssen and Bergwijn up front, I mean, where was Depay? Like, Depay was on the bench. I don't know. I'm not, like I said, is 2 goals in the last 6 minutes. What can you talk about this game? Honestly, Board Cup indeed. I think I saw one half of a game. Well, I'm working from home, Pedro. So while I'm working, I've got the telly on. And it's just shit. It's just rubbish. It's just rubbish football. It really is. It's bad. I guess it came to life a little bit yesterday morning. Argentina losing to Saudi Arabia. Now, that was a big one. That was a big one indeed, because Argentina had 3 goals disallowed in the first half. And while they took the lead through Messi, I thought, you know what, they might go on to absolutely hammer the Saudis. But I'll tell you what, the Saudis turned up 2 gears in that second half. And it's almost as if Argentina didn't have an answer to anything. I was watching Roy Keane and Graham Souness on my TV complaining and yelling at each other about Argentina and how physical they weren't. So the Saudis kicked them off the fucking park. Is that the way to beat teams now? That's just how it seems. If you look at the other games, like Tunisia played Denmark, that was a 0-0 draw. Tunisia were physical. Today, Morocco, physical against Croatia. Mexico, physical against Poland. That seems to be the growing theme in this World Cup. Teams just battering each other. That's it. Like, if you don't have a chance to beat your opponents, or if you feel that you're inferior to your opponents, just kick them off the fucking park. But I'll tell you what, some of this refereeing, I've been pretty impressed with it, because they just let things go. Like Elsa. Have in mind, Saudi team has all players playing. Yes, that's right. And their head coach, Renaud, was quite popular in Africa. I think, didn't he win the African Nations with, was it Ivory Coast? He's a good coach, man. He's a good coach. None abroad. Yeah. Rodri will tell me that it's Eddie Howe's influence. Yeah, Eddie Howe's influence, man. Eddie Howe's influence on the Saudis, given their influence on Newcastle United. But what's going on with this World Cup, man? Tell me. Can someone tell me what's happening? Because, all right, I get it. It's in Qatar. I get it. Like, people aren't happy with where the tournament is being played. They're not happy with the politics. They're not happy with the human rights. They're not happy with all kind of shit. But we've had the World Cup in Russia. We had the World Cup in France, which is notorious for racism, especially in Paris. We've had the World Cup in the United States. Are we going to go into their morals and ethics? You know, every World Cup, tell me one country where a World Cup has been held and there hasn't been any political unrest or any history of immorality, if that's even a word. Everywhere there's been a World Cup, there's always been problems in that country, in the past or the current time. You know, the dictatorship in Argentina in 78, you know, Spain in 82, like the issues that they had. Like, come on, man. I don't understand, like, what, you know, I do understand what the fuss is about. I do, but this is another subject for another time. My honest opinion, I'm just going to say this. When you go to another person's country, regardless of where it is, and regardless of whether you agree with their morals or their laws, you follow them. That's how it is. Forget the whole respect side. That's just how it is. You go to another person's country, you follow their rules. It's that simple. It is that simple, honestly, whether you like it or not. And if you don't like it, then don't go. That's the way I see it. And I know you might say it's an archaic way of thinking and it's very bayokele, whatever, but that's just my honest opinion. When you go to another person's country, you have to follow their rules. That's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. For me, World Cup associates with summer. This time of year, everyone has so many shit. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Christmas is just around the corner, you know? And I'm just talking about the Premier League here and English football in general. When they come back, I think 3 days after the World Cup final, the Carabao Cup resumes, and then you've got the Premier League games at the weekend. So, yeah, okay, it's not a great time to have the World Cup. But it is what it is. It is what it is. And we know how Qatar got the World Cup. We know how Russia got the World Cup. And I've got a rough idea how the United States, Canada, and Mexico got the next World Cup. But I'm not going to get into that. That's probably another govenda for another time. Anyway, back to this tournament. And yeah, Tunisia drew 0-0 with Denmark. Mexico drew 0-0 against Poland. Again, like boring. It's just boring. I watched the second half of that Poland game. In fact, I watched the majority of that Poland game. Poland is shit. I've got a mate in Poland and she doesn't even follow football, but she was watching the football with her kids. And even she said that Poland is shit. You've got Lewandowski missing a penalty. Ochoa, I don't know what's happened to Ochoa. This is like his 5th World Cup. He's only played in 2, I think. But he just seems to show up whenever there's a World Cup, innit? My guy saves a penalty from Lewandowski, and the guy's like, he's never going to score in a World Cup, is he, Lewandowski, the way that things are going at the moment? He played 3 games in the last one, didn't score. Played 1 game in this one, hasn't scored. That's 4 games. But at the same time, man, like he hasn't got the same support and players around him as he did at Bayern and at Barca now. So can you really fault the guy for not scoring? I can fault him for not scoring from 12 yards. But can I fault him for not scoring enough goals? I mean, look, no disrespect, Filet. There you go. You're half Polish. But when you're calling up Matty Cash, yeah? When you're calling up Matty Cash to play in your national team, that says it all. Sorry. Hey, man, how you doing? I'm good, Yanni. What's going on with you, man? You enjoying this World Cup? Who is actually enjoying this World Cup right now? Let's get it right. Who is actually enjoying it? Because I'm not going to lie. When the tournament first started, I looked at the fixtures and I thought, yeah, man, okay, fine. The Sunday game, I understand. But Monday, England, Iran, Senegal, Netherlands, USA, Wales, they look very tasty. Underwhelmed. And then yesterday, Argentina, Saudi Arabia, when I saw that, I thought, it's going to be loads of goals in it. I didn't expect Saudi Arabia to win, but good on them. Good on them. I saw Denmark, Tunisia. I thought, yeah, this might be a good game. Denmark are a decent team. Tunisia, it's almost as if they got home advantage because there's thousands of Tunisians living in Doha. Thousands. Mexico, Poland. All right, 2 teams that maybe not many people know about, but they've got good players, and you're thinking this will be a good game. 0-0. And then France, Australia. Australia take the lead, and everyone's saying, we could have another shot. It wasn't going to happen. It was not going to happen. Not last night anyway. Not with the world champions. And I'll tell you what, France, who've probably got 5 or 6 regulars injured, Kante, Pogba, Hernandez is now out of the World Cup. Fucking who else is missing? Kimpembe's out. Obviously Benzema. All right, Benzema's back for the tournament. He hasn't been playing for goodness, but World Player of the Year for fuck's sake. And it's like rah, like they just steamrolled Australia. Come on, man. We got Mbappe in that team. Rabiot was immense yesterday, absolutely immense. You know, and look at the players they got coming off the bench, Kingsley Coman, and it's very difficult to see past France at the moment. At the moment. But anything can change. Yanni, yeah, it's their country and shit, but don't FIFA for it just getting, you know, has to go cover and ban everything. I get what you're saying there. Completely understand what you're saying. But this was never gonna be an event where the organizers or the host nation would let things slide. That was never going to happen. Never. Because they play different out there. They play different. I've been to the Middle East. Like, I've been to Dubai 11 times, 10 times. But every time I've gone, I followed their rules. I went during Ramadan a couple of times. And I follow their rules. Because that's what you're supposed to do. Now, I don't want to go into all the other stuff that's been that people are discussing right now, because it's not that I'm going to be opening up a hole for myself, because I'm happy to talk about it, but I can't be bothered, because I've had this conversation with my friends on numerous occasions about this tournament, about how things are done, you know? So, look, a lot of people that are complaining about it are mostly obviously in the UK, because these are people that I discuss the tournament with. And I see it on the BBC and I see on ITV the Islamophobia. It's borderline. But I also see the hypocrisy, especially from a lot of these pundits who are saying, oh, it shouldn't be held out there. Well, if you don't like it, why are you out there? Why are you happy to take the money from these broadcasters to go out there? Why are you doing it? If you feel so strongly about it, why are you there? It's that simple. It's that simple. You know, if there's a place that I don't want to go, if there's a country I don't want to go for whatever reason, be it I don't like the look of it, or I've heard bad things, or I know about the politics, or I wouldn't feel comfortable going there, I'm not going to go. Not even if you paid me. Not even if my employer paid me. Or if I wanted to make a political stand, I'd do it by not going. But again, it's the hypocrisy, man. But again, I don't want to go into this, because I'll spend more time talking about hypocrisy than the actual tournament itself. I've done 18 minutes and I really haven't said much. Giroud scored last night for France. I think he's 1 goal away from leveling Thierry Henry's record. And then today we saw Morocco and Croatia, which was an utter clusterfuck. So we've had Morocco, Croatia, that's 1. Mexico, Poland, 2. Denmark, Tunisia, 3. We've had 3 0-0s. 1, 2, 3. We had 3 0-0s. We've had a 1-1 with Wales and USA. And then we had the high scoring game with England. But it's been an underwhelming World Cup. So I'm hoping it will pick up. Usually, as I said, the first game's always shit. So we've got to give history the benefit of the doubt. You know, Germany are playing Japan in about 15 minutes. Spain are playing Costa Rica later. And then Belgium are playing Canada. I'm hoping Belgium-Canada will be a good game, because from what I've seen, Canada are a very decent team. And Belgium, obviously, one of the favourites. So I'm hoping it'll be a decent game. I will beat Omonoia 4-2. Let's see. Look, it's different from previous ones. First off, it's in winter. Most people work or they want to go home and relax in there, of course. Second, I feel there's no passion anymore, either from the player or from the fans. Well, this is it. Is the passion being taken out of international football for various reasons? And the reason why I say this is because, number one, we have so many fucking international games, whether it be World Cup or European qualifiers, Nations Leagues, friendlies. And it's annoying, because you're watching your domestic league, whether it be the Prodathlima, whether it be the Premier League, Serie A, Bundesliga, whatever, and your team is gathering momentum and you're playing games week in, week out, and then you have Champions League or Europa League or Conference League. And all of a sudden we break for 2 weeks so you can watch a whole heap of players playing in nothing friendlies. It's no surprise that the passion and the interest in international football is gone because we're fed up with it. We are fed up with it. I mean, look, the season starts, the league season starts, and within 2 weeks there's a break for internationals. Why? Why? So when is the next international break? Because I know that the leagues in Europe, the main leagues in Europe resume some in December, some in January. But I'm pretty sure there's another international break in March. Forgive me if I'm wrong. There's too many, man. It's too many. Too many breaks. Too much international football. It's too much. We don't need it. And the thing is, because the European leagues or the domestic leagues, the club leagues are so entertaining, they're so non-stop, no one cares. And to be honest, I think a lot of these players out there in this World Cup, while, yes, they're happy to play for their nations, it's great to play in the World Cup. Having it at this time of year has obviously put a lot of them off because they're having to go back to their clubs to compete for the league, to compete for the Champions League. Now, look, whoever wins the World Cup, I guess they're going to be thrilled to win it. But when these players come back, they've won the World Cup. They haven't really had the chance to celebrate it. Let's get it right. They're going straight into competitive action for their clubs. And then they're having to play for Champions League or whatever league it is. It's difficult. It's difficult for them to remain focused. And, you know, there's a few players accused of throwing it in before the World Cup for their club team, saying, "Oh, they're just they're saving themselves for the World Cup." Well, on the basis of the first few games, what's different? Because it looks like some of them are throwing it in for the fucking World Cup as well. Honestly, it's a fucking joke. Thoughts about the new offside system being implemented worldwide? Has it got anything wrong yet? And the thing is, it's very easy to criticize VAR. It's very easy to criticize it. But you can't criticize the technology when the technology works fine. It's the people that are using the technology. That's what I always say. You know, if you are if you're a plumber, you know, and you got a wrench and all these other tools, and you feel they're not working for you, or is it the tools that are the problem? Is it the person using the tools? Same sort of thing with VAR. You know, people have been saying that there's a lot of discrepancies and there's been a few things that VAR has missed out. Well, is it VAR or is it people using it? Because don't they have like 20 odd cameras or 12 cameras to make the decision for VAR with this new technology? Something like that, isn't it? It's an insane amount of cameras. You know, games are lasting longer as well. People are complaining that there's too much added time. Well, the new directive or the initiative brought in by Kalina said that we're going to try and get 90 minutes of in-play football. We've got 5 substitutions for the first time in this in a World Cup. You know, we have various stoppages for VAR or whatever. So they're trying to make it a 90-minute game in terms of the duration the ball's on the pitch. So that's why you've got like 8 minutes added time at one time. And like, for example, the Saudi Arabia game, how many minutes added on was that? 14 minutes, something like that, for injuries? It's going to happen. And the thing is, it's just moving with the times with football. It's moving with the times. And I think people are finding it difficult to move with the times because there are a lot of changes all at the same time. If it was gradual, then it's easy to understand. But it's over a short period of time, so many changes. We've got the 5 substitutions. We've got the VAR. We've got Hawkeye. We've got added time. We've got all this kind of shit. It's all happening at the same time. So, of course, people are getting pissed off about so many things. But I'm just disappointed with the tournament so far. I'm not going to lie to you. Do I think it's going to improve? I do think it will. Because as I said earlier, historically, the first games in the World Cup haven't really been great over the years. You know, I remember, okay, so Italian 90, I remember Argentina losing to Cameroon. That was a big shock. I remember France losing to Senegal in 2002. There have been some decent games. Didn't Spain lose to Switzerland in the opening game of the South Africa World Cup, which they went on to win. I think they did, if I'm not mistaken. So there has been some shocks. There has been some entertaining football. But so far, I've been so underwhelmed by it. So underwhelmed by it. I want to go back to the Argentina game because people were saying that they were like 35 games unbeaten before going into the World Cup and the Saudi Arabia game, and that's one of the reasons why they should be taken serious as favourites. Well, history will tell you that winning Copa Americas and winning World Cup qualifiers and friendlies, it doesn't mean anything until you go into World Cup mode. Because over the years, I'm sure you guys have seen this, so many nations going as hot favourites because of who they are or the players that they have or the unbeaten streak. But once you go into that tournament, it's a different fucking game, different world. And a lot of these Saudi players may never play against Argentina ever again. They may never play against Messi. They may never play against Lautaro Martinez or whoever they faced. So they up their game. So I've got this package and it's got all my vapes. I ordered new vapes the other day. I haven't even opened it actually. Shall I open it while I'm doing the live? I don't even have a fucking salida. They've sellotaped it so fucking well. Ember that shit on, man. Fucking hell. This is going to be the outtake, isn't it? Me just trying to see. Look, got 12 of these ones. Lost Marys. They're beautiful. I've got fucking sconning, man. Yeah. So yeah, it's like what was I going to say? I got 3 for 12 quid. So it's these ones. They're tiny. But anyway, what we've got here. Other fans' tears are echoing the thoughts of the clothes. Jesus. Fucking hell. Isn't technology, though, delaying the gameplay and excitement? For example, you're in a game and your team scores in one thing on the player side. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I understand what you're saying. But for the benefit of getting things right, is it not worth the minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes it takes to figure it out? I mean, let's get it right. The VAR used now is better than what's being used in the Premier League or in Brazil or whatever, because they're using just one camera in the Premier League or whatever. But in this World Cup, they're using a certain amount of cameras. So it's easier to make that decision, to get it accurate. Now, we've complained over the years of decisions not going our way, right? And if VAR was in use over the years, would results have been different? Yeah. So in the interest of fairness, I think it is worth waiting for that extra time. I get what you're saying. It delays the excitement or whatever. But, let's say at the weekend, we score a goal, last minute, win the game, and there's no VAR. Linesman puts his flag up for offside when our player clearly is onside. We're going to be pissed, right? So, of course, I've got no problem with technology being used if it's used correctly. There's a difference. The one thing I will say, and my main complaint right now, is how VAR can be controlled to fit narratives. Now, this is the thing. You can manipulate games and the outcomes if there's no VAR. Because obviously you can, for example, pay a linesman to put their flag up whenever they want. So if there's no VAR, then they can do whatever they want. But with VAR as well, can that be manipulated? Can certain frames be manipulated? Now, I don't mean to sound like Don Naidi, because I know that he made a claim last season that VAR was manipulated to make one of his players' feet look longer than what they were. But does he have a point? Because we've got like Photoshop, we've got various editing software. What's to say that something can't be manipulated? Well, this is what I'm saying. Like, again, this isn't me being all conspiracy theorist. I'm just throwing it out there. It's possible, isn't it? I mean, we've got augmented reality now. You can fucking make Lionel Messi sing, Vasily Karason if you want, if you've got the technology. Can you imagine Messi? So, anyway, it's not looking good, breath. It's never not. Oh, Jesus. So look, bottom line is I am really underwhelmed with this World Cup so far. I'm not happy with what's been going on. But yeah, look, Germany are about to kick off against Japan, and this might be the most exciting game, and the World Cup might, fire into life. We never know. It might be the fuse that lights the torch, so to speak, the blue touch paper, as they call it. Never know. But I'm hoping that by the time I do another World Cup review, I'm going to be more excited, more enthusiastic. And let's talk less about politics, because I think that's what's overshadowing this World Cup. It has the potential to be a great World Cup. It's unique. As I said before, it's in the winter. It's highly competitive. Okay, the quality isn't what it used to be. But look, it's a once in a lifetime kind of thing, and this is the thing, like recently, over the past few years, there's been a lot of once in a lifetimes, hasn't there? We've had COVID, the pandemic, once in a lifetime, I'm guessing. We've had Omonoia playing Man United. That's a once in a lifetime, really, isn't it? It's like winning the title is a once in a lifetime as well. But we've had once in a lifetimes, and that's happening more and more frequently. So maybe this once in a lifetime tournament might spark into life, and we might be talking about one of the best World Cups ever at the end of the tournament, but we might also be talking about one of the worst World Cups ever. So anyway, look, I guess you guys are probably going to watch this game. I'm going to be watching it. I've done half an hour. Thank you to Bet On Alfa for sponsoring the show. I don't know about the betting odds in Cyprus because I don't have access to Bet On Alfa, unfortunately, because in the UK, our IPs are blocked in Cyprus. So if you follow Bet On Alfa, say hi from me. And that's it, Copelia. We'll be back on Sunday, though, 7 o'clock Cyprus time. We'll be reviewing the match against the Skada. And hopefully we'll be upbeat, we'll be happy, we'll be jovial, as will you guys. So, yeah, that's it for another No Choftes. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. All 2 of you. That's it. Come on, World Cup.